Dubai, the worst cesspit in the world.
Everything about Dubai screams excess, from the heights of the tallest skyscraper in the world to the depths of the deepest underwater pool. But most of the glittering and effective lures that the UAE's tourism board has are their influencers. Tens of thousands of bikini models and Andrew Tate wannabes descend on the city every year to show off the
So annoying. These people all are so absolutely annoying.
sights and lounge around in air-conditioned villas. But underneath Dubai's surface of glitz and glamour lies an underbelly of sex, exploitation and depravity. In fact, some of the content in this video is highly disturbing, so turn back
Hell yeah, let's go! That's the best content.
now if you don't want to know the true reality of being an influencer in Dubai. Now, Dubai is known around the world for its cleanliness, both their public places as well as their people. If you take a walk around the sun-baked streets, you'll see it's clear of litter and no crime to be seen, enforced by the highly strict religious laws and the lengthy prison sentences for criminals. Every other week, there's headlines about some Westerner getting arrested for having drugs in their system, or even having CBD in their car, showing affection in public, or criticizing the government. It's not an atmosphere you'd expect to match up with influencers in bikinis, but the UAE makes an exception for them. It's a small glimpse of the hypocrisy that underlines this whole city. While the 90% of the UAE's population are migrant workers,
Hey, it's not hypocrisy when the mega wealthy and rich do it, okay? It's just a part of life, and life is beautiful. And you're just jealous, obviously.
and the other native citizens lower down the ladder who have to obey these laws, or else, as always, there's a whole other world for the wealthy and powerful. These are the people who, in their own narrow view of the world, have already got anything and everything they want. Whatever they desire can be met with a click of a finger. Whatever food they want, whatever mansion they want to live in, and whatever they want to do. All of their wishes can be arranged for just a tiny fraction of their almost unlimited oil wealth. The people and world around them have been quantified and given a price. So where can they go from here? What other experiences are there left to explore? Well, it's no wonder
The illegal ones. So, something Epstein Island, something like that.
they've been indulging in their darkest
But they don't even need to go there because, they have Epstein's Island at home, but it's better.
and most deranged fantasies yet.
You can get an idea of where we're going from these messages sent to influencers who appeared in Love Island, a reality TV show in the UK. Tyne Lexi, a model from the show, woke up one day to see a weird DM from a man from Dubai. He offered her £20,000 for dinner and some drinks. You can understand what the implications
Hell
were there.
yeah.
She was only 19 at the time of the message. A couple years later,
Oh, if she was 15, that's not even a big deal. I mean, the younger the better in this situation. My dude, it's Dubai.
after she'd been on Love Island, an agency which said they represented a client in Dubai offered her £50,000 for 5 nights in the city. Included in the offer was a non-disclosure agreement, a common practice in this new wave of propositioning in sex tourism. Tyne Lexi then stated that she refused both of the offers. Another Love Island star, Rosie
Liar. She's absolutely lying about that.
Williams, was offered £100,000 per year spent being the companion of a man from Dubai. Along with the cash came the promise that he would take her shopping whenever she wanted and foot the bill for her handbags and clothing. It happens all the time. The same article describing these cases talks about the countless anonymous tips and stories.
You know what's the worst part about this? This is commonplace. This is extreme commonplace. You don't even need to be, island survivor, whatever model women, okay? You just literally need to be a girl who looks good enough, is young enough, and have an Instagram where you're posting pictures naked enough. And you can be contacted. And then, then you can start posting expensive pictures in luxurious restaurants while everyone who knows you knows that you struggled finishing fucking 5th grade. But now, hashtag best life, and you're happy. And you know what's the worst part about the world? This is literally the dream for a lot of women. Just taking it up the a-hole, a couple of times a day, maybe a couple of times a week, and then just lounging in a bikini in front of a pool and buying a bag here or there. Literally, unironically, hashtag living my best life. Again, I know 3 girls that live this life. It's pathetic. but they're as happy as it can be, unless they like, you know, become 40 and then the world starts crumbling around them, which I am patiently waiting for because that's gonna be hilarious.
Whereas similar things happening to other social media models. It just doesn't get talked about. Either the women refuse and don't mention it, or they accept and they're too embarrassed or under agreement of silence.
You see, most of the influencers that come to Dubai.
Oh, by the way, these agreements, yeah, these agreements are like small things, because all of these women understand when they go there, oh, the agreement doesn't actually matter that much, because if you break the agreement, that's just the first step of 100 that's gonna come and destroy your life. Because again, if you break the contract, there are worse things to happen than just you getting sued for breaking an NDA. Because you're gonna get sued for the rest of your life, and they're gonna make sure that your life no longer exists, and you are miserable and regret everything you did if you even speak about this. Because that's what money is: power.
Go for the same reason they do anything else: brand deals. Brand deals are the currency which fuels the whole industry. Influencers are only as valuable as the amount of people they can convince to buy your product. So when companies with massively overinflated marketing budgets are looking to appeal to a younger audience, they're an easy solution. It's this path that the makeup brand Tarte went for, shipping 50 influencers and their plus ones to an all-expense paid trip to Dubai. Footage from the event showed that each influencer was given their own luxury apartment and business class flights to and
Now, the part that they don't show you is that they need to make videos that said Dubai awesome, that they needed to tweet Dubai awesome, because Israel does the same shit.
from the home country. The flights alone cost tens of thousands of dollars each. Add in shopping sprees and luxury restaurants, and you can get a picture that there was more to this than simple marketing. It didn't help that in their promotions, lots of the influencers didn't even know the name of the brand they were shilling. Apart from being completely out of touch with real life, there was definitely something else going on. Tarte's CEO stated that they don't do traditional marketing, and instead they spend their budget on building relationships and building up communities. In this case, they were probably building up a relationship with the UAE's Tourism Council and the limitless funds. For the biggest influencers, they don't have to worry about anything. Their agents and their brands will sort it all out for them. But for the rest of the Instagram models who aren't at the top, it's a completely different story. For them, it will often begin with a direct message from a rich businessman, who will offer them massive sums of cash for vague favors and a trip to Dubai. Other
Massive. In reality, it's like pennies to them,
times it's been a friend of theirs.
which is the best part. They spend pennies, you literally lose your soul because now you have to eat tiger feces. Great deal.
Industry. They'll tell them about the rich opportunities, the ways that their own trip to Dubai boosted their career, and how nothing explicit
Or maybe you just get lost forever, who knows? That's also a possibility, because what the fuck is the UN or America gonna do when someone says, hey, she went to Dubai and never returned? Yeah, no shit, her head is literally rolling down the desert right now because she got beheaded.
sexual will be expected of them once they get there. Whatever they can say to convince them to go for modeling work or some other cover. For the greedy and the desperate that take the offer, they're transported to a different world. And here is where it gets very graphic.
Good.
You see, this sort of thing isn't just happening in Dubai, it's happening all over America, where people find themselves the victims of abuse by powerful, predatory people at the head of organizations all across the states. And if you've ever experienced hardship at the hands of those running these powerful companies and organizations, pursuing legal action might be your best option to achieve justice. But the problem for most people, like many of those examples I discussed in this video, is that you never feel like you can achieve justice because taking legal action can be
This sounds like an ad. It is an ad.
Confirmed with very hard evidence, besides a few disgusting videos, but the ludicrous amounts of different sources, the explicit details and the embarrassing and secretive nature of the industry makes it incredibly likely they're true. The most circulated story was told by one Twitter user in a thread of tweets, recounting a conversation they had with one of these models who had been duped and coerced into it. The woman involved described meeting a rich and handsome Emirati businessman on a private flight, who convinced her to come to Dubai with him. Once they were there, they spent time on dates, saw
Convinced her? Please. He probably said, I'm Dubai, I'm rich, come with me, and she said, yes, please, yes, faster, daddy. There was no convincing necessary, okay?
the sights and did other touristy stuff, but a few days into the trip, he tells her to dress up fancy and drives her to a villa on the outskirts of town, miles from any other houses. Inside are a collection of older wealthy men, with more women her age.
Wait. Did we not watch a moon video like this? Is this like a repost or something? I have a feeling we have.
Everything's
Well, all moon Dubai videos are the same in general, so I guess there's no reason.
seemed kind of normal, if a little sketchy on the first day there. But at 2 a.m. that night, she was awoken by an attendant coming to get her for games. When she came downstairs, she was
Hell
greeted by a
yeah.
large room full of sex toys and buckets.
Yeah, I distinctively remember watching a moon video like this. But this one is new. This one's 3 years, not 3 years, but 3 weeks old, so it can't be the same one. Is this just a rehash of the old video? Because we've watched one.
The other women were there. Some of them looked nervous, whilst the men were calmly waiting. The women
Or is this just another rehash of a different video that we watched about Dubai? They're all the same because everyone knows what's happening here. It's just fun to remember the good times.
made to strip. Then one of the men pulled down their pants and defecated into the bucket. For the next 2 days, they all
Giga Chad.
engaged in sexual acts, often involving the use or consumption of what is in the bucket. Obviously, lots of these
Good.
women wanted to leave immediately, but they had been promised $50,000 if they lasted the 2 days. On top of that, if they left, they would be without their personal belongings in the middle of nowhere in a very foreign country, so nearly all of them chose to stay. It's stories like these that give a glimpse into the true reality of being an influencer or a model in Dubai. It's in stark contrast to the clean, idyllic
I mean, this is the life you live in every country as this kind of influencer.
pictures you see on
Because you're desperate for a life that you don't have, and any promise of the life that you are so desperately trying to pretend that you have is probably gonna be an instant sell to you.
their feeds. Instagram and social media in general is a showcase of the results, not what they had to do to get there. The cars and the clothes and the holidays might look incredible, but you'll never know the lengths some people have gone to get there. Would a Chanel bag really be worth going through that? But in some cases, you can't blame
Yeah.
the people for doing this. If they've
Yeah.
been duped or threatened into it, or if their situation is desperate enough to where they have no choice, it's an awful decision for them to make.
My situation is so desperate. Will I go and do a normal job at McDonald's like a normal person? No. I'm gonna go make easier money. This is like what dude saying this is so disingenuous. This is like those videos where guys approach women of the night and then say, "Hey, how much do you ask for an hour?" And they say X, and then they say, "Okay, I'll give you double if you go clean up my apartment." And they're like, "Cleaning? No cleaning. I'm not gonna waste an hour cleaning your apartment, but I'm paying you double. No, I'm not gonna clean. I'm not gonna cook. I just take it up, you know? I just take it up. It's crazy."
But for others, it's motivated by greed alone. However, the real blame here lies with the rich men instigating it, creating the networks and taking advantage of people. It's relatively
Hey, don't blame the rich men for the fact that some women are just degenerate trash.
unsurprising though when you consider how Dubai treats the migrant population in other cases. Either they're
All Indians, by the way.
working them like slaves, withholding their meager wages for months or years at a time, or giving them under the bare minimum of living conditions. It's predictable that they'd be using
I mean, for an Indian, that's the best living conditions.
these people for other things. That's the side of
Listen, I'm not saying India is bad, but when Africa is making fun of your food because it's so disgusting, even an African who doesn't have food is not gonna eat it, you arguably have a serious problem.
the scandal we don't see, and it's likely to be far worse than what does come out. Influencers and Instagram models, if they're going to talk about it, at least have a platform to get the word out. Migrant workers from developing countries don't really have that same following or opportunity to make
You know what's my favorite part about Dubai? The beheadings, because they still happen, by the way, and I love it because it's hilarious how they do it, okay? So, it doesn't obviously happen in the city of Dubai, it happens in the outskirts. And, you know, I love it because you can find so many videos where someone from afar actually feels it like some kind of sheikh beheads someone, and it's kind of hilarious because all of them are sophisticated people, but obviously beheading someone is pretty awesome, so you know you're gonna do it, right, if you have the opportunity to. I certainly would. And they do the beheading, and then they like skin it back because they don't want blood on their gowns. It's great. It's great. They skin it back because they all want blood on their gown. Mwah, it's beautiful. It is the best thing ever.
Their situation known, and Dubai's elites are nearly certain to have taken full advantage of that. If what we do hear about is so horrific, you can only dread to imagine what happens that we don't know. There are some people that might say it doesn't matter what happens between consenting adults behind closed doors. Of course, that totally forgets how hypocritical it is for Dubai's elites and how disgusting it is. And unfortunately, it isn't always just adults involved, as the next
Living life is experiencing hypocrisy. So, I mean, who gives a shit?
story shows. One video of a woman speaking out about a contract she had signed was incredibly revealing. In the video, she verbally consents to flying out to Dubai, getting an STD check, then to performing sexual acts with the
Oh yeah, we remember this one.
client.
Yeah, this is definitely just a rehash of Moon's old videos. It's getting boring. We already had the fun. Now it's getting depressing again. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching. Bye.